Does that mean we are headed for a recession right now?
So I think we have to analyze that by each region, because the United States, our home mortgage market is based on a 30-year mortgage. So anybody who has a home mortgage, higher interest rates does not impact them. And so the transmission of high elevated interest rates in the U.S. takes much longer to impact the economy. Whereas in other places where you have more floating rate, or like in the United Kingdom where you have generally a 5-year fixed and then it resets. And so let's assume 20% of the mortgages have to be, reevaluated at a higher level. That creates more immediacy than higher rates. So I think we're going to see some economies enter recessions early.
Which ones would that be?
Well, I think Europe.
Just anyone's more sensitive to
the ones that are more sensitive to this elevated interest rates, and you're starting to see a real decline in GDP and other. They're basically flat now, but can they go into a more protracted recession? Whatever the recessions we're going to have, they're going to be quite modest. So I'm not even that fearful. But the other issue.
I have a stat for
let me just say one thing,
yes,
Dani.
Yes, then I'll inject the fear.
But I believe if we have labor shortages, if getting back to this whole social issue of how are we going to be doing this, in many areas you may need a recession to bring down labor demand. And I think this is one of the things that's going to impact in the United States. You still have a very vibrant economy. The United States, and as I said, the J curve of the Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act, the IRA, which has huge implications, that's going to be creating jobs. And so it may require a more protracted Federal Reserve. And it may mean by 2025, the United States economy may be entering a recession. But I don't see it any time in the near term.
So throughout history of U.S. growth slowdowns, we have underestimated every single one of them. Are you confident we're not making that same mistake again?
Look, if central banks can overshoot, if fear becomes worse, then consumers pull back and the recessions are going to become more protracted.